Yayo, tell me about your coffee this morning. What's your coffee this morning?
Today is a black coffee from Chancellor.
Okay, where'd you start this morning? You said this was like your
Yeah, I
sixth
yeah
cup.
I started at home at 5 a.m. with a cappuccino that I made at my house.
Mhm.
A
It's a good steward of your resources, making it
yes
yourself.
yes
Go on.
yes I buy at Trader Joe's for $6.99.
Okay.
It's a full bag and it's still lasting. So it was just a good coffee. I started there, then went again for second rounds. Then when before I left my house, did another one, so that's three.
Good thing you
Uh,
get it for a good cost at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I know, right? Then DA run down the highway and I needed more energy. So then went to Starbucks and got myself a just black coffee for like $2.
Yeah,
Cause
yeah, the black coffee's okay.
that's cheap
If you
there.
start getting their unicorn frappuccinos or
Yeah,
whatever, it
that's
can add
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
As we're talking about finances
It
today.
is unicorn season, right? I think.
I don't know.
Well, my son was trying to get his unicorn drink for the gram. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, okay. And then I'm here at Chancellor with my coffee here, which I don't know which one it is.
Right now it's Black Rifle, actually. It's
Yeah,
what we have
well,
upstairs. They gave us a great deal. So
yeah, there we go. I'm drinking some Black
where'd you start,
Rifle.
Nick? What's your coffee today?
I started with my black coffee at home, and I'm having black coffee here as well.
Nice.
But I already brewed a mocha pot for iced coffee later,
Planning ahead.
so I'm
Thinking
planning
ahead.
ahead,
Nice.
strategizing.
Nice,
Nice.
nice, nice.
I had my pour over this morning, beans that I roasted myself.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fancy.
Oh. And then, yeah, I'm on like round 3 or something of our Black Rifle from upstairs. And so we're talking today, though, about finances.
Yeah.
Yesterday, it was the very difficult discussion. It's, we bring up the idea of tithing, and suddenly the eyes just get glazed over outside or in the congregation. They're thinking, oh, here we are talking about giving. But our folks, I think, really responded well
Yes,
to the discussion
yeah, they
yesterday.
did. And I, in the beginning, just like you did, I started hard. I went straight with Malachi, right? And as soon as I finished, I stopped for a few seconds. Then I went, all right, guys, let's get our wallets out. And everyone laughed. And I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I don't know if you know this, Cameron. In the Hispanic culture, a lot of pastors will use this verse, Malachi 3:9-10, to make people feel guilty.
Mhm.
And that's a reason why a lot of people in the Hispanic culture don't give to the Lord because they have been manipulated and abused through this passage. So that's how I open up. I was like, maybe you're one of them. Maybe you don't give and you are missing of the blessing that God has for you because someone, and I go say this out loud, a false teacher
Mm.
taught you wrong. And as a pastor, trust me, as a church planter, we want people to give. It
Yeah.
helps us, right? But I want people to give for the right reasons and not because they feel pressure to give. So that's how I started.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, there's been a lot of abuse revolved around finances within the church. I had one of my friends, Dr. Emmanuel, some of y'all have met him. He texted me yesterday after the service. He said,
Nice.
how did your sermon on tithing go? I said, well, nobody threw anything at me. So, it went okay. But we've gone back and forth even in that world, he and I, on the difference of Spanish
Yeah.
congregations, English congregations, the way um, giving is taught
Hmm.
in different ways. And so, there has been a lot of manipulation within
Yeah.
it, but giving is important.
Yeah.
Tithing, the offering, we see it all throughout Scripture. And I want to go back to read you said the Malachi passage. I just want to read it in case someone doesn't know. It's the passage of Malachi 3:8. Will man rob God?
Mm.
He says, but you are robbing me. But you say, how have we robbed you? And God responds back, in your tithes and your contributions.
Mm.
And so I went on to say there that you can only rob someone of something that already belongs to them.
Wow.
It's God's.
Yeah. That's deep.
All of this is
Yeah.
God's.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went through, but then we'll go ahead and jump in because I think everyone who comes in and out of church, they truly want to give their best to
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I think they do.
Yeah.
I don't think folks would show up on a Sunday morning, wake up, drive to church, be involved if they don't truly want to learn something, to grow, and to give their best.
Yeah.
So, what holds people back from doing that?
I feel like sometimes what holds people back to give God their best financially is their debt.
Mm.
kind of like what you mentioned yesterday, that sometimes we have so much debt that we cannot, we gotta pay our debt, and we're like, well, let me pay my debt, then I can give to God.
Mhm.
I was telling the church yesterday that my giving was $1 sometimes, or $2, or $5, and I work for the church. And that was back in 2015, 2011. And I just was so caught up in debt that I'm not, if I give, I cannot survive.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why people are hold back to give. Another one is knowledge of understanding what giving means to the church. I feel like we, in today's culture, we have a misunderstanding of what giving means to the church. Some people don't give to the church because they feel like, oh, what they gonna do with the money, or how they gonna treat the money. Is my money going for this? Is my money going for that? And they wanna make these shots on their giving where that's not their responsibility.
Well, and I think tip culture has impacted the church.
Mm,
Okay, you have done a good job. And you know the whole tip culture of everything now. You know, the things turn around on you. You're going to get 15, 25. I mean, the percentages keep going up. And
yeah,
and I know people have to live off of these things too. But I think tip culture has found its way into church. Oh well, the sermon wasn't that good this week.
yes,
So I don't know. I didn't like the music selections, Nicholas, this week, and so and you know people because you know
Can I
our
put a
culture
tip
is
jar
now.
out? Is that?
What was that?
Can I put out a tip jar? Is that?
I don't know about that. We'll
right.
take that to CLT. But yeah, I think tip culture
Yeah,
has crept into the idea of if I like it, I'm willing to offer it. If it
yeah,
doesn't affect me
yeah.
personally, I'm not gonna
Mm.
invest as highly into
Yeah,
church.
and something with that, I would just, as you're speaking, I'm thinking of this. When you want to subscribe to something, they give you a 14-day trial to see if you like it.
Mm.
And after that happens at church. Oh, before I give, let me do my 14-day trial to see if it's what I want, without trusting that that should be God's. And you want to give God your best, not just financially, but with
Everything.
everything, right? That finance is just one part of it,
Yeah.
but you can give money to the Lord and be away from the Lord,
Yes.
which that's something we see in the Bible.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's where, you know, I like the saying of the wallet is often the last thing that's baptized. Where we see folks get baptized, give their life to the Lord, but not their spreadsheets,
yeah,
not their finances, not those things. We're going to hold that stuff back. Yeah, with debt, just you know, a quick little Google search. It told me that the average American credit card debt is $6,600. And I was looking this morning, I forget what it was, but over the last year, it's increased by I forget like $1 billion, something crazy like that. That personal credit card debt over the
mm,
last year is increasing. And so as we see folks going into debt, whether it's mortgage now, unless you're have a lot more in your pocket than I do, you have to
yeah,
navigate life with mortgages.
yeah,
You have to navigate life with car loans, with rent. Um, I had friends going through college and would graduate college with over $100,000
mm,
debt.
mm,
I have friends. We'd be going out, and Sarah and I both worked through college. Sarah's much smarter than me. Doesn't take much to figure that out, and so she had a lot of scholarship that she was able to receive. And you know, we'd work and we'd be wise with our money. We'd go out to eat sometimes. Well, I
yeah,
had friends who were going out to eat on their college loan money that
mm,
they had been loaned out, and I'm thinking, even at that age, at 19, 20 years
yeah,
old, starting to see like you were making bad
mm.
decisions. And so just crippled by debt. And so therefore, since we bind ourselves with this monstrous debt for the future, start stealing from God's money today.
Yeah. Here's one of the issues that happens if we go back. What we were saying earlier, that one of the reasons why we don't give is because of debt, but also because no one has trained us
Mhm.
in how to prepare ourselves, right? Like, if you got friends in college who are spending their college tuition money to eat, that's a bad decision.
Bad
They
decision.
should have somebody there beside them. Let me guide you. Let me show you. Growing up, I didn't have that.
Mm.
I grew up in debt. My parents will always be in debt. They know they had to pay their phone bill on Friday, But they waited until that sixth day of the week to the latest to pay it, and I'll be like, if you have the money, just go pay
do
it.
it.
Just do it. But they wouldn't because they were just fear of letting go. But they waited, and by the time they waited, they'll cut off the phone or the water
And
bill.
then interest adding up, and it adds
It
up.
adds up. And but here's something crazy. And in the Hispanic culture, have you heard this word before? Tanda.
No,
Tanda.
no.
Okay. So tanda, this is what it means. It's you get a group of 10 people together. All right. Everybody gets a number. And, we put a number in the bottle, and everybody gets a number. Everybody 7, 8, 4, 5. So everybody will pitch in $100 every week. So whoever got that number, that's the number of the week you'll get the money. So if it's 10 people, it's what, $1,000.
Hmm.
So if you get number 7, then week 7 you get $1,000. So it's
But you've invested your $100 at the beginning.
yes. And every week you gotta give $100 until the whole 10 weeks is over. So one person will get $1,000 on week 1, the next person will get $1,000 on week 7. So it's like a savings, right? So it's so weird. I know it's weird. My wife, when I told her that, she's like, "What's happening?" And then you have to do it one time to get it. But here's the thing: people will be in debt with tandas,
Yeah,
and you have to pay it because
you've committed to
you
that.
committed for. So there's people that will be in 4 tandas, which is $400 a week. So it's basically a savings.
And
But
I chuckle, but it's the same thing because how many people? And so I've seen it time and again. And this is just me saying these short-term loan situations where people go and grab $300, but their interest rates are 40-50% skyrocketing.
Yeah.
So I even look. This is at the Federal Reserve website. This is the Federal Reserve website that 37% of people could not pay a $400 emergency expense. This is Federal Reserve website, found this morning. And 37% of people could not. If there were a $400 expense that you had to pay for your child, for your car, for your house, whatever, you owe $400 right now for this emergency expense. 30% of Americans could not pay that
Wow.
without going to sell something, to borrow from a friend, something like that. And it all goes back to the planning.
Yeah.
Now, we say this, that you start somewhere.
Yeah.
I remember the day I've shared the story before. I didn't share it yesterday, but I was working in church. We were super young, just got married. Sarah was a teacher in North Carolina, and we were out in the country of North Carolina, and one of those where we just got started and trying to figure out what it all means. And I remember I was working in the church, barely making anything, and so I was not giving anything.
Yeah. Sounds like me.
And exactly. And so in my mind, I'm sure I was rationalizing, oh, well, Lord, I'm giving you today. No, that was my job. Oh, Lord, I'm giving you, look at what I'm doing. I'm here at the church. And so in my mind, I was trying to deceive myself.
Trying to justify
And I
yourself.
remember that moment I was standing. It was actually outside the choir room because my office was right outside the choir room. And I remember all of a sudden, God just stopped me. He was like, what are you doing? How dare you teach or lead in such a way?
Mm.
And I was like, okay, I have to start.
Mm.
Now, I was learning budget. I've always been okay with numbers in my mind and spreadsheets, stuff like that. But when you're trying to shift your budget, it can be hard to say,
Yeah.
oh, 10% right now. And so I remember having to learn that and guide myself in that and my family finances in that because you have to start
Yeah.
somewhere.
And that's the key, right? Is starting somewhere and know where you at.
Yeah.
And it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be 5, it could be what percent wherever you at. That's why that's what yesterday when I was talking to the church, I said we don't live under the Israel law anymore. We live by the law of grace, which is higher than the Israel law, than the law of Moses, right? It's higher. Why? Because now we want to give our best and we are cheerful heart. So I'm like, when I found out that I was kind of not in the same shoes as you are, not giving, it took me about 4 months.
Mhm.
So I sat down, okay, Lord, I go start giving you this much. And as I start getting better financially, then I start adding and adding. And Cameron, I since 2018, since 2017, I started giving to the Lord nonstop. God has met everything of my needs, and it's been a blessing. And I can give joyfully. I could be comfortable and take someone to drink coffee and be like, hey man, let me buy you coffee today. It's on me today because God has been so generous to me. And that's something Dave Ramsey talks about, right? When you live, when you have that peaceful financial peace, then you can give gracefully, but also with generosity and joy.
Yeah. And that's where we're supposed to live that way, not just in the church,
Yeah,
but everywhere we go. Everything we do, it's supposed to be with generosity,
yeah,
with kindness, with that open heart. And we have a spreadsheet. I've got an Excel spreadsheet,
nice.
and that's how I want to function. I want to know what day my bills are due. So I've got it with what bills that are regular, how much they are, when they're due, what dates they're going to be pulled out of my account, and so I've got it all. I know exactly what it is. I've got my expectation of here's what we're going to be spending on food this month. Here's what we're going to be paying for gas this month, and so I want to know for the most
That's
part.
very detailed.
Oh, I want to. You've got to.
I
It's the
like
old
that.
saying: you either control your
Yeah.
finances or they control you.
Mm,
I I deeply believe that. And I try and teach my kids that. They get a little allowance now,
mm.
and they're learning how to do it. We were in Target on Saturday, and we were looking. So of course, my girl and I were looking at Barbies because come on, Yaya, what else am I gonna do on a Saturday?
Yeah.
And so she's looking, and of course, she goes to the biggest Barbie out there. She said, "Daddy, can I buy this?" And I said, "That's a lot of money, girl. I don't think you want to buy that." So she kind of wandered through, and I said, "Why don't you look for something maybe like $9 or $10?" She had that amount. She had enough money to where she could buy that, and she still had extra money
Yeah.
left over. And that's her money. That's
Yeah.
for that she's been earning with doing stuff. And um, she said, "Okay." And she found one. She actually found the cheapest one
Oh,
there.
that's good.
And she, but just teaching making
That
decisions,
principle.
the principles
Mm.
of how we spend. And so, like Nick and I were talking about DoorDash yesterday, and not to knock DoorDashers, I've bought a couple things from the Monday we got back from Guatemala after 15 days. On the airplane home, Gavin said, "Can we DoorDash Chick-fil-A tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Boy, I'm not getting out of bed. Let me DoorDash that
Yeah.
now." So I did do that. But the average DoorDash user, and I love that name user because I know people who are addicted to DoorDash, but the average DoorDash user spends $400 to $500 monthly on DoorDash, and
It's a
that
lot.
that's a lot of added fees because things cost more on DoorDash than the fees and just the everything. So that alone, the $400 to $500, that's probably a $300 expense that has been added on to because of the additional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there automatically goes another $150 to $200 that month. Now, if you've planned for that and it's a
Yeah.
part of your stuff, okay, we all have our things. Like I was joking beforehand, I'm literally holding a Walt Disney mug right now, and so everybody spends money on
Yeah.
things. But do you control that
Mm.
expense? Do you give God the best and the
Mm.
first fruit? I love the fat portion that we see from
Mm.
from Abel, um, the best and the
Mm.
first,
Mm.
or the leftover scraps of saying, "God, I've got this much left
Yeah.
over after I've dashed and coffeeed and whatever.
Mm.
God, here's what I'm going to give you at the end. Here's your tip
Mm. Mm.
at the end of the day."
And that's what we need to work on is sitting down, grab your bank statement
Mhm.
and look at it.
Grab your husband, grab your wife, do this
What?
thing together.
Yes,
Let me
together. Key,
side
together.
note, joint finances. This is just joint finance. Anytime I do pre-marriage counseling, marriage counseling, any joint finances. If you are married, it's for better and worse, and you're doing it together.
Mm.
I would tell any married couple, if you don't have joint finances, sit down, evaluate your marriage, sit down with somebody, and let's build this thing.
Yeah.
Because if you are hiding things like that from somebody, there's an issue.
Mm.
And that's one of my
Yeah.
things. I didn't talk about it yesterday, but so sit down with your spouse, your husband, your wife, and say, "Here's where we are
Yeah.
financially. Do we need?
And
Where
for
do we
those
gain
and
control
for
of
those who are
this?"
listening, one of the reasons why people do get divorces is finances is one of them. It's one of
Finances.
the top three.
Yeah,
It's one communication finances, and then the other one is speech is R. I'm not gonna say it here, but
yeah,
it's finances and communication. If you can't talk to your spouse and sit down, hey, we need to work on this together, then that's where the enemy will creep in.
yeah.
And like my wife and I, we talk about money. And we have a system. And one of our keys is this: like, if you go spend over so much, you gotta let me know,
Yes.
or vice versa. If I go spend over this much, you let me know. Not to get my approval,
Yeah,
right?
but just making sure you're on the same
But we
page.
are in the same
So
page,
it's both,
right?
but it's the communication
Exactly,
too.
and that's the key, that communication. Like, for example, when Joanna and I got married, one of the first things I told her we were working on our budget was this: I have a designated budget, or I don't know how to say that word,
Designated.
designated budget for my haircut.
Mhm.
I get a haircut either every Friday or every other Friday. And she's like, well, that's a lot of money. We can save that. I know, but let's that's my thing. And she compromised. She said, okay, we'll make it work,
Yeah.
right? And she knows that every other Friday or every Friday I do get a haircut because I like my hair. I mean, right now I got a hat on, but it looks
Hey man,
good.
you're looking good.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
It's
Right.
worth every penny.
But that's part of the budget.
Yes.
Right. We work on the budget. My boys, you talk about your daughter and you give them allowance. I told the boys, if you want to buy something, if you can buy it 2 times, then go for it. But if you cannot buy it 2 times, wait for it.
Mm.
And then you can see if you can buy it later. Because then you go spend all your money on something that you will not need in 2 weeks from here or 3 weeks from here, right? So it's budgeting is key on a lot of things you do, and together with your spouse and your kids. If your kids see you budgeting, you are teaching your kids to budget.
Yes.
And they see you putting God first in the budget, like, all right, God, this is for you. Then they'll see that, and then you are doing what Abraham did with Jacob.
Mhm.
Is it Jacob or Joseph? Jacob, right? When
Which
Abraham
which story?
Abraham gave, but it's generational, because then Jacob also gave.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You're talking
yeah,
about
I
with
see
it.
what you're saying.
Yeah, you
Okay.
guys see what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing with it because
Yeah.
family still, right?
Generational. Yes.
Generation. So that passes on to the next generation. So we have to train and teach. If we don't, then we get in debt.
Yeah. And so then I'll bring it back then into the church. So you're talking about like transparency and things like that. I love how Chancellor does it because we have an annual meeting and church votes on the budget.
Mm.
And sometimes there's been conversation because the church does that and we make sure we are giving missionally. Some churches I know don't invest out missionally. I think the church should be doing that. Yes, what we're doing here, we deeply believe in, or we wouldn't be serving in such capacities. You know, we believe in the mission here, but the church also should be teaching its people and showing its
Yeah.
people to give in that way. And that's why we love to be able to support our mission partners
Yeah.
locally and internationally and do these
Yeah.
different pieces because I believe the organization of the church should be
Yeah.
teaching that and showing that as well.
And we have to walk by example, right? We have to lead, right? I was telling the church yesterday that we have a food pantry. Where did the resources come from?
Mhm.
From the givers of the church. It's not just something that just appear out of nowhere, right? People are giving, and as soon as I say that, I saw their faces clicking. Like, wow, that's true. That money comes out somewhere. I'm
Yeah.
like, it comes from the church. So we're giving back to the community, and that's just locally. I mean, you guys go to Guatemala. I mean, we're giving missionally, right? So that's an example that we can give to the church. And something that you mentioned yesterday, Cameron, that if there's someone that needs help to start a budgeting system, you guys offer that right here, are you right?
Yeah, because Melissa and I, we've sat down with folks before, and with all transparency, my first question is, I want you to make a list of all of your expenses. List of all your expenses. Look over the last month, find everything that you have spent. Bring that to us, and we would love to sit down
Mm,
and maybe give some guidance and some pointers. And it's not
yeah,
us saying, hey, you have to do this, but we've sat down with folks, and some folks have taken the advice, some haven't.
yeah,
Melissa knows a great group. It's a Christian based organization that helps you navigate through debt. Because again, sometimes you find yourself in tough situations. And so, yeah, we've done that before, and we schedule times to sit down. And like I said, we ask folks to bring in, hey, be transparent with us.
yeah,
We're going to help you. And we don't share
yeah.
things like that with others, but we'll be glad to sit down and work through that. So if someone needs that next little step, we'd gladly sit down to help build a budget, a
And
basic
and
budget.
that's so awesome that you do that. And if somebody is listening, how can they get connected to that?
Yeah, so just reach out to the church, connect with Faith at the front office, and she'll get us scheduled in and communicate with us, and we'll find a time to sit down. Usually we just sit down in my office, and we
Nice.
do that. And Melissa's in there with us, and so yeah, just reach out to the church, and we'll gladly make that happen.
And again, I think I just go back to this, like God loves a cheerful giver. And if you're in debt, it's hard to give
It's
cheerfully
hard to be cheerful.
because you are thinking of your debt. Like, oh, I cannot give this because if I give this, then I cannot pay my DoorDash. Right?
Need my Chick-fil-A. Yeah, no, so that's great. And so, thankfully, you said earlier, we live under this covenant of grace.
Mm.
And we repent and we realign things together
Mm.
and we move forward and we give cheerfully to the best we can. So
Amen on
it's
that.
a wild topic of tithing and giving, but it's essential. It is all through scripture. And so we strive to give God our best, our first, our most. We watch him multiply it far beyond anything we could ever dream.
So we can finish with this question. Are you Abel or are you Cain?
Are you Cain giving an offering,
Mm.
or are you Abel giving that first and best, that fatty portion?
Yeah.
An offering or the best offering? Good question.
Yeah. There we go.